Good evening. Police are hunting for a gunman after a man was shot outside a music festival in Birmingham. Thousands of people were at the event at a nightclub in the Digbeth area of the city when gunshots were fired last night. Chris Halpin sent this report.
Well, police were called here to the Rainbow Warehouse nightclub shortly before midnight last night, where they found a man who'd been shot in the stomach. A 35-year-old man was given first aid at the time and then rushed to hospital, where he's now in a critical condition with life-threatening injuries. Now, thousands of people would have been packed into this venue last night, and police are hoping someone might have seen what's happened and they can come forward with some evidence. Now, businesses here in the area are very shocked at what's happened and say they've never seen anything like it before.
We were standing outside having a cigarette and we heard as if it was glasses crashing on the floor, and security guards ran ripping the barriers down so everybody could get out. Some were running, some were just walking.
Very shocking, it's not nice. I mean, I don't think it's frightened anyone away from us today, but it's not nice to have something like that happen just around the corner.
Well, there was an event planned at the venue this afternoon that's had to be cancelled because roads in the area are closed while detailed searches take place. Now, police think the gunman escaped on foot. They're hoping to get as much evidence as they can, and they also say they're working hard to try and find whoever committed this crime. Chris Halpin, ITV News, Birmingham.
Coventry City have played their first home game of the season 34 miles away in Northampton. The club, which is in administration, left its former stadium in a row over unpaid rent. But that stadium was still packed this afternoon with plenty of Sky Blues fans. Andy Bevan explains.
This was a tale of two Coventry cities. Around 1,100 fans travelled across county borders to watch the Sky Blues' first home game of the season against Bristol City. Meanwhile, in Coventry's Ricoh Arena, almost 6 times as many fans filled the stands for a charity match between Coventry Legends and the Midlands All-Stars. The club, which went into administration in March, left its former home base because it owed £1.3 million in rent to the Ricoh's owners. After a 10-point deduction imposed by the Football League, Coventry City are now playing home games at Northampton's Sixfields Stadium. Some made the trip there this afternoon but chose not to go inside and say they won't until the club's owners, Sisu, change.
We want them out. They just destroyed our football club. You know, until they go, we're not going to give them a penny.
Others decided they just had to watch their team wherever they're playing.
The draw of watching the lads is too much for me.
I haven't missed a game for about 10 or 15 years, home or away, and I'm not going to miss one now.
The charity match kicked off at 2 o'clock, an hour before the official team game, and at 3 p.m. during half-time at the Ricoh, there was a rousing chorus of We All Sing Together, both as a protest to Sisu and as a message to those fans who chose to follow the players to Northampton.
Most people will not be going to Northampton, not because they don't want to follow the football, but they're trying to make this certain statement that we should be here, we should be at the Ricoh Arena.
This is the home of Coventry, this is the home of the Sky Blues, they should be here today.
If you go down there, to me, you're supporting Sisu.
The average home attendance here last season was about 10,000. Well, there are about 6,000 here today, and that is only 1,600 short of the entire capacity at Sixfields. The final tally at Sixfields was a 5-4 win for the Sky Blues. At the Ricoh, the Coventry Legends racked up a victory of 8-3. So both cities came out on top. But for the club's divided fans, it seems there are many more scores still to settle. Andy Bevan, ITV News.
Now, emergency services in Nottinghamshire joined forces today to show off their skills at a special open day. Fire engines, ambulances, police dogs and rescue helicopters and boats were some of the things on display at Newstead Abbey. The event was the largest display of 999 emergency response vehicles and equipment ever seen in Nottinghamshire.
Today we've brought ourselves together to meet the public, not at an incident, but to show what we do, how we do it, and some of our very specialist pieces of equipment. And it's just been a fantastic day out here at Newstead Abbey.
Well, on to sports, and there was one game in the Championship this afternoon where Leicester drew 0-0 with Leeds. But Gareth Owen now looks back at yesterday's top stories from the Football League. The roundup begins with Nottingham Forest.
It was a frantic end-to-end afternoon at Ewood Park. But it all boiled down to this moment right at the finish. Darius Henderson with the game's only goal, which continued Forest's perfect start. Derby went a goal down at Brighton, but they were level within 10 minutes thanks to Chris Martin's assistance. Now, Martin signed a permanent contract with the club at the end of last season. It seems to have been a good move. He got his second just after half-time, and 2-1 is how it stayed. Birmingham had a potentially tricky second game at Yeovil, who were celebrating their first ever home match in the Championship. As it was, they didn't even have to touch the ball to score from this corner. One Yeovil player headed onto another and into the net. That own goal good enough to give Blues the win. Last week it was a disappointing start for Wolves, but in their first home game back down at this level they were excellent. Lee Griffiths is a real prospect and scored the first within 5 minutes. A cute little finish from Lee Evans made it 2. And Bakary Sakho's thunderbolt had things sewn up even before half-time. A quieter second half, but when Evans was brought down with limbs flying, a penalty was given. Lee Griffiths again with the spot kick. An all East Midlands game at Meadow Lane, and County already have an injury crisis. They've hardly any fit defenders. Ironically, their only recognised centre-half gave them the lead, Dean Leacock. That lasted only a couple of minutes though. Tommy Rowe scored from a corner for newly relegated Peterborough. What had looked like an even match in the first half changed completely in the second half. Peterborough ran the show, scoring through Tyrone Barnett, a Grant McCann penalty, and Britt Assombalongo. County's last-minute penalty from Johan Arkin, effectively meaningless. Port Vale and Shrewsbury both suffered away defeats, but Walsall did better on the road. James Baxendale's goal meaning they've started the season with 3 back-to-back wins. A special moment at Field Mill. After 5 years non-league exile, Mansfield Town are back. They couldn't find a goal to mark the occasion though. Both sides had their moments, but it finished 0-0. There were good home wins for both Burton and Chesterfield, but the biggest win came at Northampton. 24 hours before the ground welcomed the new tenants, Coventry, the landlords were cruising to a 3-0 win over newly promoted Newport.
Well, time now to take a look at the weather for the week ahead. Here's Emma Jesson.
I can't wait to get some sunshine.
Me too. I'm sick of all these showers.
Hello there, hope you've had a good weekend. Look at this, those bales gleaming in the sunshine. Do you remember what it was like to need to cool off? Well, yeah, some of that warm weather may be back as we head into next week, but you can't have everything. It's either going to be bright and fresh like it has been this weekend and over the last few days, or much cloudier and a bit damper, but also very muggy as it will be next week. So let's take a look at what's happening. Now then, as we head into this evening and the overnight period, still 1 or 2 showers, just an odd shower up to the northwestern corner of the region, but elsewhere dry. Generally clear skies, especially the further east you are. Temperatures on the cool side, 12 or 13 Celsius, but maybe lower than that out in the countryside, down to 10 Celsius. Possibly the chance of a glimpse of Perseids meteor showers out towards the east. Best chance of that further east then between midnight and dawn. Tomorrow morning, quite a bright start, but lots of cloud building quite quickly, and then an odd shower starts to come in. Later on, there'll be more showers in the afternoon than the morning, but fewer than today and quite well scattered.
Flybe, sponsors of ITV Central Weather.
Suffering from hay fever? ITV Pollen Count is sponsored by Benadryl.
Breezy as well tomorrow, and those showers could crop up just about anywhere, so counts will generally be low to moderate for our weed pollen over the next few days. Have a good evening, see you later. Bye-bye.
Well, that's it for now. ITV News Central will be back first thing tomorrow morning with Lee Comley, who will have more news from the Midlands. Until then, enjoy what's left of the weekend, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.